Okay, I am going to record my completion workshops. And I have been writing this story for a long time. 2014 is when I started writing this story. I choose not to write it, instead to voice it, because I have written tons of books and it gets downloaded and it will be in a different version than I wanted. So I'm going to sit behind my beautiful trees, my yard, and I'm going to tell my story to the whole world. I grew up in India, and when I was 8 years old, I knew I needed to be a healer. So I went and told my mom. I said, Mom, I need to be a healer. My mom says, to be a healer, you need to become a doctor first. And I couldn't understand why she said that. Come to find out, it's because she felt we were very poor. That one of her dream was to get out of poverty, for me, my sister, and for herself. And so I felt I needed to honor that. So I became a doctor. And even before I finished my medical school, the last year, and I also have a visual memory. So I didn't have to really study hard, seriously. If I meditated, I could see the whole page and I could just match the pictures and I could ace any exam. So it's like kind of, I guess, like, God was kind to me. I had multiple guides along the way. And my first guide, who was Chinmayananda's mission, I went and learned Bhagavad Gita when I was very young. I used to do Bhagavad Gita recitation. And actually, I think it is Agoblimat. I got some awards there when I recited. And then my neighbor taught me Vishnu Sahasranama, so I memorized it so I can say Vishnu Sahasranama very well, even from a younger age, without looking at the book. Then my next guide was Raghavendra, who I prayed to get into medical school. And on my last year of medical school, my parents got an arranged marriage for me, which lasted 1 week. This guy came from Canada to go to New Zealand. He stopped and saw 4 girls. And he said, I asked him, he chose me to be his wife. And I asked him, what was that due to? And he said, I had the highest form of etiquette he wanted. Whereas he liked a girl from Bangalore who was a little bit more attractive. And he did have a Chinese girlfriend in Canada. And he broke up with her because it was very important for him to honor his father and mother's wishes. That's why he switched from Canada, went all the way to New Zealand to mend his broken heart. Meantime, got married. After 1 week of marriage, the marriage didn't survive. So my goal became to find him. I became my own detective. So I decided my dad and mom wanted me to forget that marriage. But I said, nope. I said, I'm going to be the most pious woman God made. My mom and dad were upset because they said, that's not what they would want of me. But when we went to the court, that's what I asked. I said, my father asked me to go to court. And I told the lawyer I want reconciliation of marriage. And the judge looked at me and he laughed and he says, do you know where this guy lives? I said, no. He said, then he's canceling my marriage. But I chose not to give up. I played detective. I called New Zealand Embassy. They said, unfortunately, he's traveled to America. So and I decided to come to America. But one of the rules my father gave was never to forget my career, because they invested a lot of effort in raising me. So I said, okay, I'll honor my career along the way. So the career is like got me where I need to go at each point, but necessarily not what I was looking for, seriously. So then I learned through one of my cousin. This guy is in America. I called American Embassy. They said because of privacy rules, they are not able to give out the information, but they'll pass my message along to him. So then I come all the way to America. I find him. He was already married by this time to another person, and he had a daughter. He says, there's no way he wants to do completion with me. I wonder, geez, look at his face and say, why did you do this to me? Because his parents told I was very sick. I had thyroid, and I was ashamed of myself. And that's why he got married to a sick person. And he said to me, because his marriage was about pleasing his parents, if his parents didn't want me, he didn't want me either. His mom said I was too dark. When they got married, they assumed I was fair. And he felt he didn't have to deal with me now that he knows the truth about me. Anyway, so then I decided to pursue my dream. I met my husband in Lakshmi Temple. I go to the temple because they sold food for $1. And I found if I volunteer, even that is free. And I started volunteering there. And not only that, eventually I got into blessing of Lakshmi. So the trustees took the recognition of my effort, and they started paying me $200 per month. So I applied for R1 visa. I was actually already on an F1 visa. I was in an R1 visa. And I got into residency meantime. And I was in a H1 application for H1 was going through. It was January 1st. I started my residency. I was a paramedic by then. I always pursued my career. My career never had a gap. Career, like I said, it kept going on the sidelines. And then when I got married, oh, by the way, so April, suddenly I come to find the H1 visa came through, but the R visa, for some reason, there was some glitch. So the R visa lapsed. So even though I am currently working in the temple, my religious visa expired 8 days before the H1 kicked in. So because of that, they said I had to go back to India to get my paperwork and come back. And that was the toughest part because by the time I was $8,000 in debt, I really couldn't leave the country, but I already had a job. And my husband used to come there to meditate. He has asked me out on a date even before. And I told him I will go on a date provided my dad can tag along. Because by the time my mom died and my dad was with me, since I already had a job, the only thing that was holding up was my paycheck that the H1 visa has to come through. So I already had 4 months of pay waiting to be collected. So it became very difficult. So I actually, on Akshaya Tritiya day, April of 1998, I asked my husband, I said, would you marry me? Because by the time he was asking to date me, and I said, either you're all in or all out. So he said, it's an honor. And then the priest, I told my dad, he said, it's an honor. So my dad started looking for stars to get married and stuff. They fixed May 1st as the wedding date. It was a week before May 1st, Akshaya Tritiya came. So then I said, to my husband, when he walked into the temple, the priest said, oh, I heard you're getting married to this girl, because I was a staff then. And my husband said, if I'm the groom, if she's getting married, I'm not the groom. She must be mistaken. So the priests were very, very scared that I wouldn't get married. So they fell on his feet, and it became like very dramatic. So my husband was so miffed. He comes and tells me, how dare you say this to everybody? So I says, so what is it? You don't want to marry me? I said, then I'll go on plan B, So then for some reason he changed his mind. And after 5 years of our wedding, that's when I found out what happened was when we were in a restaurant, that guy was saying, hey, how did you guys meet? I said, oh, I asked him to marry me. He said, it's an honor. he'll marry me. And he says, hey, hold on a second. He says, it's an honor. You asked. I never said I will. It's an honor. I'll marry you. So that's when I realized I need to really listen better to English. Even though I speak English, I guess I don't really hear the way people talk to me. So then we went to a resort, like I had by the time 3 kids. And in February of 2014, we had each our own, home. My elder two were in their own little condo space. My husband did like a lavish resort, and I grew up really poor, so I feel always guilty when we spend money. And me and my youngest one was in another level, and then my husband was in another level. So I was so sad. I said, this is not the family I envisioned. So my husband says, always you complain. He says, why are you never grateful? See, everybody got their own TV. Everybody has a space to sleep, and our personal space, our personal things to pursue. That's when I received the email from somebody in Australia. Her name is Celine Trucking, and she says, the connection is in between the hearts. It's not about the closeness of space that tells us how close we are to each other. And that was very healing. So I decided to write my story. So I decided to write it in a way that would make sense. And here is my story, autobiography, okay? But it's going to be fun because I feel life is about fun. So the goddess of knowledge, who's like made of fire, and her hair is glowing like fire. She comes across god of wisdom, who's ice. And because they are elementally so different, they decided to put their spirit up in the, like the goddess of fire puts up in the heavens. God of wisdom puts his spirit in the mountains as glacier, and they decide to play together. And the god of wisdom keeps it in Himalayas. And the god of knowledge, the fire, she keeps it in the black hole, the Hiranya Garbha, as they say, Shakti Sadhana. So they play together and they create their first baby. It's a baby panther. Oh, he's so beautiful. Shining coat, he's so cute. So they raise him and they let him have anything he wants, and he's running around happy in the mountains and stuff like that. At 5 years of age, he roars and he says, I cannot take this family anymore. And he runs away. And the father and mother were shocked. They thought they gave him everything he wanted. And if you want to follow up of what the panther did, one of the kids been saying to her, she says, what happened to the panther? So go watch the Diabolo that became Spirit in YouTube. Okay, the panther became Diabolo initially when somebody adopted him, and then he became Spirit. But anyway, to come back to my story. So the mother and father again get back together, and this time they create a cute panda. They said, oh my God, the panda is so cute. But remember, we made tons of mistakes with the first one. So they said a lot of rules for the second one. You shouldn't go out after 8 o'clock. You should wear helmets. You should follow the law. You should not break the law. You should be home. Check in with mom when it gets dark. So the baby panda was playing along. When he becomes 5, he roars and he says, Mom, this is not fun. Dad, this is not fun. There's no fun to be in this family. So he runs away. This time, the spirit of the mother weeps and it melts the glacier's heart. And they together make Pegasus. He's purely made in spirit. So because he's in spirit, he doesn't even have a body yet. So he runs to see his mom. Meantime, he comes across his spirit guide, who happens to be Nityananda Mahasada Shiva, his guru. And his guru guides him as a bird. So he asks his guru, he says, Nityananda, please help me. Who are you? He says, I am eternal bliss. Nitya means eternal. Ananda means bliss. He says, I'm your Maha Guru. Sadashiva means always. Sada means every moment. Shiva is, think of the possibilities. So he says, okay. But he says, you need to wear this Rudraksha, this special bead I give you, until you realize you are Sadashiva inside. So Pegasus agrees. He says, why am I even born to this family? Everybody is separated and like, I have no family here. What the heck is going on? So Nityananda says that's the purpose of your birth, to bring everybody together. So Pegasus says, okay, what do I do first? He says, first you need to go create the family unit, go talk to your mother to do the completion with your father. Because if this is separate from that, then it remains in completion, remains together in completion. Once they come into completion, still, if that is separating from this, only completion remains alone. So you need to work with the completion again and again and again. And I'll guide you with each step and give you task one by one. He says, if you keep doing that, your Rudraksha has to remain in your throat all this time when you speak. So that when you speak, it'll be my speech that will be heard. So he gives him a present. And then that has to be worn always in the throat center, so that when Pegasus speaks, everybody hears. So Pegasus goes and he looks at his mom. He says, Mom, I found you. He says, Mom, would you at least come back and live with Dad so that we will have at least a family unit? Mom says, okay, I'll put my spirit back. So she takes her spirit, puts it back. She comes in the state of completion. And she flies to meet the ice god of wisdom. And he is dancing around. So she says, can you stop dancing and answer me a few questions? He says, dance along with me. She says, okay. So they dance together. And he says, what's up? She says, I really want us to work as a family. Would you help us? So he says, sure. Since I'm the wise guy, I'm going to give you rules. And if you follow me, I'm going to allow you to stay with me. So she says, okay. So they decide to follow along. So the first rule he gives is, first you need to create edges on the mountains. Once you create edges, I will melt and I'll flow. And we'll create our first unit. This is a task you need to complete, and then come back, check with me. So she says, okay, she does her Shakti dance, and she makes a beautiful edges on the mountain. She actually is far away from Himalaya. She's in redwood forest. So she burns all the trees around on the top of the mountain. In spite of that, the tree keeps growing because she knows what she's doing, right? So then afterwards, the redwood tree grows as tall as the mountains themselves. But there is a clearing that is happening in the mountains. So the god of wisdom sends over a piece of himself, a little piece of his hair, and throws it, and it becomes a roaring waterfalls, and it melts, and the roar could be heard all over the world. So with the roar, all the animals start coming and drinking water. They love it. It's so sweet. So they go and tell the spirit. They said, spirit, come. There is a beautiful mountain here that has the sweetest water. So he goes to drink. And then when he starts drinking, he really loves that water. He started hanging out more and more and more. And Pegasus jumps. He says, I found my brother. So he asks his guru, his teacher, teacher, tell me, what do I need to do? So he says, for this guy, he says, connect your heart with his heart and create a prayer thread. The prayer thread has to be very subtle, made of pure light. And when you connect with him, and the connection is perfect, it will glow like a rainbow. And that's when you know you've achieved completion. So Pegasus says, okay. So he runs down to meet his brother. He says, brother, I am your brother. Why did you run away? I love you. So the bigger brother's heart melts when he sees this little baby. Actually, if you watch the YouTube video, he does ask about this baby because he knew about this baby, but he didn't know he was his brother. So then when Pegasus asks the spirit, the panther replies, he says, you know what? I love our mom and dad. But when mom comes near, she burns me. When dad comes near, he freezes me. So I cannot live with this sangha, this type of network. So they say, then what do we do? He says, go tell them. So Pegasus runs to his mom. He says, Mom, this is what our panther brother said. Mom says, you're right. I burn things. I need to be a little careful. And dad says, yes, you're right. I cannot freeze him out. What he's saying is right. So we cannot be too close. So we'll let him have his independence. Let him do what he wants. Let him be happy. That's all we want from him. But we want to be close to him too. So when they go and tell this to Panther says, I'm a secretive guy. I can stay with them provided they create a crystal cave for me behind the waterfalls. I'll be secretive. I cannot openly say that I'm their family. If they agree, I will be in their family. So the voice guard, he says, yes, he says, I'll take your rule. Welcome home, my son. And then the mom says, yes, you're right. I will take your role. I will not openly show affection, and I'll step back. I'll be in the space of completion. I'll hold my home so you can come and go as you please. So their relationship start growing, and then they communicate, and then the Pegasus gets caught up with each story. Each day comes back. Mom says, hey, I'm the bright side. Tell me the story. And then he says what happened to his brother from the bride's perspective. And he goes to the groom side, which is his father. He tells the father their side of the story, which is very rich. So the father is so thrilled, his son is growing so mature and he's taking pride. So both of them are overjoyed with happiness. They start dancing the dance of bliss. Then together, when they start seeing, one day mom gets so excited, she runs to go hug. So the panther says, So then Pegasus says, Mom, the Sangha is reacting. You really need to be careful. So then they all run to the father, the Sadashiva himself. They say, hey, father, he's reacting. What do we do? So Sadashiva says, I'm the wise guy, wisdom guy. So I'm going to give you some rules. So he tells to his son, when you feel like roaring, you need to use words because you're reacting, not acting. So how do you use words? Is for each roar you're going to do, and because it's only a form of reaction. Reaction is not you. Action is you. So since you want to just use your roar as an action, he says for you, you need to roar after counting 21 in your heart center. He says you need to split open your heart and say, bliss 1, bliss 2, bliss 3, bliss 4, bliss 5, bliss 6, and so on until you arrive to bliss 21. And then if it bothers you, roar. The roar can be heard million miles, and because you're coming from a roar of integrity, the whole world will stop for you and listen. So the child starts doing that more and more and more, and once it establishes the power of force of silence, there is a glistening prayer thread that's forming between each one of them. That's when the relationship becomes perfect. And then Pegasus says, oh my God, this is the rainbow bridge. This is the prayer thread that I was told about. This is a state of completion. The whole world is in bliss. So then father says, this is what I was looking forward to. And mom says, I'm so content now. And she says, she begs the God of wisdom now, can you guide me into finding our second son, the panda? They said, okay, let's go find him. The God of wisdom says, remember, the first rule was to create boundaries. For the second guy, he's a fun-loving guy. So for him, we need to create pathways. So he says, be very gentle, flow seamlessly among all the bushes with force of silence. And with this, all the lush plants will grow and he'll come back find us. So she's very quiet. So she starts flowing gently in the valleys. A lot of bamboo grows, lush bamboo. Meantime, go watch Kung Fu Panda, and that's where he runs away to. And so he becomes the biggest head of this Kung Fu Panda. So then the panda family comes. They started chewing on this bamboo. Oh my God, it is so tasty, the bamboo. So he starts like slowly coming eagerly to the source. And that's when Pegasus finds him. He again is like all happy. Now he has to remember, he has to go ask his teacher again for the teachings. So he runs. So the teacher says, right now, you need to figure out with this brother how he needs to make words. Because the first one was action. The second one is a reaction. Reaction, we have to have more and more words that is coming from the source of completion. And when it is pure with the intent of understanding, he says he'll be released. So then Pegasus goes and tells his mom and dad, I'm going to go find Panda. So he goes, he saws his brother and he claps his hands and he says, hi Panda, I'm your brother. He runs around in circles and Panda is so much fun to be around. He says, why did you run away? He says, they gave me so many rules. Each rule they gave, I'm going to break it anyway. So he says, okay, I'll go carry this to the Sangha. He says, I will tell them each rule they give, he's going to break it anyway. So what would be the best strategy? So for this, the mom and dad group together and Sadashiva says, hey, remember, the only thing is he is already in the space of fun, which is my whole purpose. He says he doesn't need to be bound by this Rudraksha and all the other Sangha rules. He says he just can be home, wherever he is. I'm good. We can just go play with him. He doesn't need to play with us that much. But at the same time, he just need to check in with us, that's all. Because after you raise him for 21 years, you don't need to hold them together. You just are there to show them and shower them love. It's their life. So the mom agrees. but still, like, she's eager to meet him. So when they go tell him, he says, I'll come and go as I please. He says, if they are agreeing to that, I'm willing to stay in the engaged relationship. So he said, sure, anytime, come and go. You'll be an Adinavasi. You'll always have a space here, but go do your chore, but no, permanently you have a home with us. So the panda is like moving along. One day, mom couldn't resist. She runs to go hug him, and he starts running away. So Sangha, please wait, don't run away. So then the father, the wise guy, Sadashiva says, remember, the reason you're running away is because you do not have words. So for you, you need to do the words. So each time somebody is coming closer to you, you say, you violated this rule about me, and that's why I'm moving along. But only create a bridge, not a wall. So the panda agrees. So he starts doing more and more and more words. The more he engages, the more he comprehends, the more he understands, and the more rules he gives, the knowledge and the wisdom understands and follows along. And finally, at one point, their family is so content. They say, okay, Panda, we understand and we have given you all the rules. This is in this one scroll. And then the panda's overjoyed. So he says, okay, I'll maintain the relationship. It's so blissful. All the bridges turn rainbow in color. And it's all connected again with prayer threads. And everybody is so blissful. When he opens the scroll, finally he finds it's unwritten, the rules, because you can write your own rules. And that comes to a beautiful place. Now, everybody is so happy. So now Pegasus says, Mom and Dad, he says, I have brought everybody to completion, but I'm pure in spirit. And I live in 33 universes, 33 crores of people are waiting for me to release them. Would you give us a chance to be part of this beautiful family? Because I do want to engage with my family, but also with the family I've formed over the years. So the mom now says, what you're lacking is only the perception of being loved. She says, the wise guy can give you all the rules, but it's the mother who puts the heart back together. So for you, there's only one rule. What you're lacking is validation. So Pegasus says, Mom, they don't want to validate you because you're not wearing a certain thing on your forehead that shows your third eye is awakened. So Mom looks at Dad. Dad says, what you're looking for is turmeric, honey. He says, you're born of the seed of knowledge. So use a turmeric oil and wear it on your forehead. And you are there. So then they said, oh, Mom, you're not wearing the Jnananjana, which is wisdom eyes from the teacher. So you're banned, Mom. So Mom looks at Sadashiva. Sadashiva says, honey, I'm going to give you the kajal you wanted with camphor. Dip it in Jnananjana. Put it there. You're following the rule. You're integrated. So then the mom says, now I'm going to do the role for Pegasus. The only thing you need, honey, is validation. Validation is time tested because the sweetness of the fruit is already established in the center of the flower. And I'm born of the essence of flower. So what I am going to do is give you a testimonial that you are essence of my time by holding this always. And when I hold it, we are going to ask everybody to tell you what they meant in their life. And to Pegasus, she says, you put me back together. You brought me back to my heart. And my heart is the Ananda Ganda. And through that, I became vibrationally the divine matrix that sheds divine bliss called Kundalini. Kundalini can be portrayed in different people, different way. Ask them whether they felt like an ant crawling on their skin or a fish swimming in their body or a monkey jumping. The energy goes straight from their bottom to the top, so they jump. Or the snake moving, or like oscillation inside a balloon of divine matrix, so they move like as though they are rocked. Once they tell you which place they are at, they're part of our family. And they can dance the divine dance, Kundalini dance. And they will always be in the core Shakti Sandhana. And how would you know? Because you have 4 parts to you. One side is the bell that's ringing. The other side is following. There is a baby inside you. And there is a gender inside you. Whether it's a 9 type of gender exists. And through this, you'll be in complete completion. So that's what you meant to be, honey. So the father says, you allowed me to get my family back. And he says, that's enough for me. And the teacher says, you allowed me to create that space where I can teach my father's agamas. So this will be listened by your mother, who will come from the deepest understanding. And this was created as a software, so you guys can run the software. So you can live and sustain your life and be pure in existence, so you can exist as anything you want, whether it's a mother, father, teacher, friend. And by being in this way in existence, you would be led to a path of enlightenment, which is only 3 things, which is removal of Anava Mala. Mala means garland. The spray thread is a garland. Anava is belittled, feeling belittled if you throw it out. Karma Mala, which is action based. So if you take pride in your action or false praise in your action or insult by your action or reaction, if you throw it out, karma mala is removed. And you can create a new pattern in your life that creates exactly you want by using and rewriting your future with Trident. And by remembering who you are, you will come home anytime you want. And this portal is always open to you. And I name this Kailash. And with this, everybody, everywhere in the universe came home. And I hope each one of you find a home in this sacred family. The end. This family is called Prayer Threads, and they were registered as a trademark in United States. And these trademarks were transferred back to India, where originally it was started as Kashi Thread. And to honor all the effort that was done by Pegasus' teacher, the family brought it back to Nityananda Mahasadashiva as a present to hold it always in his space. So if you go there anytime, visit his museum or his gallery where he keeps sacred stuff, there would be a trademark called Prayer Threads. And in return, in United States, we honor by putting his picture inside the prayer threads, and we laminated it. And we honor it as a temple tree because we want to honor the redwood trees. And each redwood tree will host his prayer thread in energy. And in India, each banyan tree will host his thread as a prayer thread. And through these two trees, every other tree in the whole world would communicate and form the sacred divine prayer threads that will hold us all together in oneness. This is my completion workshop. And I'm so glad I was able to write this story with the help of Pegasus, who ends up being the most sacred path to releasing every human being through prayer threads to come home. Let everybody come home. There is a sacred prayer that was done by vibration, Rudra himself. And I'm going to recite that. Vittim chame, viddhischame, bhutam chame, bodhischame, vasuchame, vasadhischame, dharmaschame, shaktischame, arthaschame, imischame, idhischame, gadhischame. Vittam chame, viddhischame means let me learn the science and bring my children, offspring, to their completion. Buddham chame, Buddhischame means let all the ancestral property and richness overflow in my life. Vasuchame means help me to create habitation. Vasadhischame is comfortable. Karmashame means help me to do this as my path with determination to succeed. Karmaschami, Shaktischami, Arthaschami. These three is as my path to successfully complete this with determination and success. Imeschami, Idhischami, Gadhischami, so that I will finally arrive at my goal of spiritual fulfillment. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cosmos. Thank you for giving me this powerful space of completion. Completion is this and that. When this is removed from that, it ends up being incompletion. When this joins that, it ends up being in completion. So only completion remains. Thanks for this blissful moment in my life. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, my beloved teacher.